So here we have the standard you would think for tanks to form up in. This would be the standard formation for any tank existing on the tabletop. Of course, in the real world, they might be farther apart than this, but both given a bit of Hollywood that influences us, and given the fact we're playing on a 6x4 tabletop, this seems to be a really good distribution for a unit of tanks. There are just 3 of them. These are 15mm scale tanks, and these are hexes of 1.5 inches. You can make the inference from there. However, this being a tabletop game, you expect to be a little bit of, there'd be a bit of adjustment so it can be used on a tabletop, right? So you might have a formation that's a little bit more like this. As you can see, the tanks aren't exactly abutting to each other. There's not anything crazy going on with the formation of the tanks. They look like they could be functioning pretty well. They're close enough they can concentrate their firepower. However, when it comes to certain war games, why is it that now in the modern age, we see tank formations on a tabletop that look like this? People have been calling this a car park, but I don't see anywhere for the people to get inside the doors. In a car park, you at least have space between the vehicles so you can mount and dismount, right? But not this one. For some reason, they put themselves together like they're literally jammed on a warehouse shelf. And they play games like this. Why? Why do gamers play modern war games, especially Flames of War, like their tanks are a product deployed for sale? I'm going to show you exactly why.
The easiest culprit to point out is the present 4th edition command system. The present rules give all units, no matter what they're composed of, a 6-inch command radius from the unit leader and 8 inches of radius if there are 8 models or more. Now, in prior editions it was more complex than this, perhaps in a good way. You referenced the training of the unit and if it was a tank team or not. This gave you not a bubble, but a chain distance of coherency. This way you could choose whatever formation you wished. A huddle, a line, a horseshoe. One of the old tactics I did when I first started 2nd edition was to take a full unit of Panther tanks, 60% of my force, and make a line that allowed me to control a 3x4 foot area on the table with just one unit. It wasn't perfect. There were few tanks over a lot of distance with nice big holes, but I could do this. I balanced facing off against my front armor and stationary guns versus reactive positioning. The tactic failed in the long run, but at least the option was available in the game mechanics. Team Yankee was really the launching point of the new edition, and it must be noted their coherency is different. You got either the 6-inch bubble, or you could advance line abreast, with a whopping 16 inches to either side as an umbrella. Very nice. That would have worked well in version 4 of Flames of War. Just look at this. It's not amazing, but this could be useful in certain circumstances. In version 4 we have the limits we do, and to be fair, there are ways to work with that. Here is a unit of 6 tanks, one more than the USA or German maximum. I made them all fit in the 6-inch bubble. Is the coherency the reason for parking lots in Flames of War? Well, in part. It doesn't take a combat veteran to realize spreading your forces out means some of them might miss crucial combat. This gets worse when you have turn limits. Then again, in modern warfare, just because you have lots of open space on the table doesn't mean you want to stand there. This is one reason medieval and Renaissance games have more fans. Advancing in the open means walking into a kill zone. So by nature, you crunch up where there's terrain. And given this is a 15mm scale game on a 6x4 table, we should have enough terrain and enough space. Does Battlefront want this style of play? Not really. Looking at their site and company pictures, tanks are usually 0.5 to 2 inches away from each other. Call it what you will, but at least the balls aren't touching. So, whose fault is it? The obvious answer is the one you're not going to want to hear. It's the player's fault. I've looked at some tournament pictures and I've seen local games played. It really depends on what kind of player puts down their pieces, determines the quality of the formation and what you get out of the game. I've seen people just slop all their tanks in a row. It's up to each individual player. So, if there are tanks in parking lots in your Flames of War game, it might just be your fault. Thank you for watching this video, and may the dice ever roll in your favor.